This is Vox Frustrati, a voice for progressives everywhere. Vox thanks the many of you who wrote in with their comments after his debut. Today we feature a piece sent in by a correspondent who wishes to remain anonymous. It's called "The People Are Not to Blame." Much of the political drama that unfolds each day is nothing more than a carefully orchestrated distraction to hide the looming collapse of the American economy and the active theft of our national treasure. America's future is defined by GovCo, the financial and defense monopolies that own and operate the federal government of the United States. It serves their agenda to have the people to blame one another for their own hardships. As long as the people are divided and continue to hate one another, GovCo will continue to thrive. But God help GovCo if the American people ever realize that. The people are not at fault. The people are not to blame. The events leading up to the U.S. financial decline are a direct result of our system of government, which fosters the private ownership and exploitation of public resources, along with unfettered capitalism which consumes the productivity, quality of life, and health of Americans, returning to them an ever smaller share of the nation's natural bounty. America is now, and has always been, a colonial outpost, fully owned and operated by corporations engaged in global trade. The U.S. government transforms constantly to meet the needs of its owner corporations, first inviting immigrants in for cheap labor, infrastructure building, and natural resource exploitation, then sending them abroad to wage wars and to seize the resources of weaker nations for the benefit of the corporations, finally letting the workers die of neglect when their labor is no longer required. The people are not to blame. All U.S. presidents have endeavored to keep the American workers alive and have done reasonably well, all things considered. Political parties are only marginally meaningful in the unfolding of the corporate agenda, existing largely to provide workers with the illusion that they are self-governing. We live within the walls of our settled constitution and our permanent system of corporate government. The people are not to blame. For 8 years we had a president who was a semi-conscious imbecile. For the next 8 years we'll have a president who possesses conscious intelligence. Neither of them have any control over our corporate overlords or the fate of the nation. They, in fact, are compelled to serve the corporations while pretending otherwise and throwing scraps to the people to keep them mollified. The people are not to blame. So wrote our correspondent. Some people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood and skin and bone, a mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. So, do we have a powerless president, predominated by a private plutocracy, who have purloined the plenitude of our provinces, peculating our prosperity for personal profit, ever proliferating their plundered pelf, a pernicious partnership of pestilential and poisonous plutocrats, passionlessly pissing on the peasants? Or do we have a complicit commander and Congress? More on this anon. Vox wants to know what you think.